Hey there, I'm Dr. Ace. Most people think creatine is just a powder for young gym goers. But if you are over 45, not knowing about its other benefits could mean missing out on stronger bones and a sharper mind. As we age, we naturally lose muscle and bone strength. Muscle strength can drop about 1 to 2% per year after age 50, and this contributes to weaker bones and higher fall risk. This is why sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and osteoporosis become big concerns for older adults. The exciting news is that creatine, a supplement long associated with youthful weightlifters, is now being studied as a healthy anti-aging substance. Research shows creatine, especially combined with exercise, can slow or even reverse age-related declines, helping improve muscle strength, increase bone density, and even boost memory and cognition in older adults. In other words, this familiar supplement might secretly be a stay young ally for your body and brain. Why does it matter? Well, imagine staying independent, avoiding frailty, and keeping your mind sharp as you get older. Creatine's potential support quality is life substantial. It can improve strength and daily function in seniors and may reduce the burdens of muscle loss and cognitive decline.
For example, one study found that older adults doing resistance training gained more muscle and bone strength when they added creatine compared to exercise alone. Another line of research suggests creatine can enhance memory in people 60 plus, essentially helping an aging brain work more like a younger one. These little-known benefits are game changers because they target issues like falls or forgetfulness that many older adults worry about. By the end of this, you'll have complete clarity on how creatine works and how it might help you or your loved ones age better. We'll also address common fears. Is it safe for your kidneys? Will it cause weight gain? And share expert tips to use it effectively.
And here's something many don't know. Creatine isn't just one thing. There are many forms: monohydrate, hydrochloride, and etc. In this video, we will explore which form is actually worth your money and if the classic creatine monohydrate is still reigns supreme. So have you ever wondered what creatine could do for someone in their 50s, 60s, or beyond? Stick around and you might be surprised. This simple supplement could be a key to staying young, strong, and on your feet and mentally sharp. But first, let's break down what creatine really is and how it works. Creatine is a natural compound, an amino acid-like substance that our bodies make in the livers, kidneys, and even in the brain, and that we also get from foods like red meat and fish. In the body, 95% of creatine is stored in skeletal muscles, with tiny amounts in other tissues like the brain and the bones. Think of your muscles as rechargeable batteries and creatine as the extra battery pack. It helps produce and replenish ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency of our cells.
When you do any quick, powerful movement like lifting a box or climbing stairs, your muscles use ATP for energy, and within seconds that ATP needs recharging. Creatine stored as phosphocreatine in muscle jumps in to donate a phosphate and regenerate ATP, giving your muscles a rapid energy boost. This means with more creatine available, your muscles can perform a bit better and fatigue more slowly during high-effort tasks. Importantly for older adults, aging muscles typically have lower creatine stores, partly due to reduced intake and muscle mass. So, adding creatine through diet or supplements can top up those energy reserves, which may help restore some strength and endurance that time has taken away.
Here's the twist. Muscles aren't the only place creatine works. Your brain also uses creatine. Just like muscle cells, brain cells need tons of energy, ATP, to think clearly, form memories, and keep you alert. Creatine can increase the level of phosphocreatine in the brain too. By fueling brain cells with extra energy, creatine has been shown to improve certain cognitive functions. For example, studies find it can enhance memory and processing speed, especially in older adults, or when the brain is under stress, like in sleep deprivation. One systematic review in 2022 found that significant memory improvement happened in people aged 66 to 76 who supplemented with creatine. The concept is that a well-charged brain may think quicker and resist fatigue better. Many viewers might be surprised to learn that the researchers are exploring creatine for neurological health and possibly aiding recovery after brain injuries, to easing symptoms of depression, though those areas are still early stage. And what about bones? Well, you might be asking, how on earth would a muscle supplement help my bones? Here's how. Our muscles and our bones are connected. They are a connected system. Stronger muscles, thanks to creatine and exercise, tug more on bones and stimulate them to grow and stay dense. But creatine may also directly affect the bones.
Laboratory research indicates creatine can boost osteoblast activity, the cells that build bone, and reduce bone resorption, bone breakdown. In plain language, creatine seems to send a build and preserve signal to your skeletal system. In combination with resistance training, it has been shown to improve bone mineral density in older adults. For instance, One clinical study found that postmenopausal women doing weight training had greater bone density gains when taking creatine compared to those doing the same exercise without creatine. Stronger bones mean lower risk of osteoporosis and fractures, a crucial benefit for those of us in midlife and beyond. To avoid confusion, let's clarify a couple of terms you might hear.
Creatine monohydrate. This is the most common and best studied form of creatine supplement. It's basically creatine with a water molecule attached. Almost all research showing benefits for muscle, brain, or bone has used creatine monohydrate. It's effective, bioavailable, and usually the cheapest form. Other forms like creatine, HCl, ethyl ester, buffered creatine, and etc. are marketed, but none have convincingly outperformed monohydrate in unbiased studies. Phosphocreatine, which is PCR, after it's stored in a muscle or brain, is bound to phosphate group. PCR is the storage form that sits steady to recharge ATP. Think of PCR as a charged battery and ATP as the energy in your cells. When ATP is used, phosphocreatine helps quickly recycle it to ATP again. Creatine, not to be confused with creatine waste, that is a product of your body muscle breaking down, and it's shown on kidney tests to show kidney function. Supplements can slightly raise these creatine levels because more creatine is present in the blood, but this is not harmful by itself. It just reflects that you have more creatine in your system. The key here is that creatine is the supplement, the useful substance, and it's just how your body clears out creatine that is altered. Your kidney function is not altered here.
If you hear high creatinine, it's usually about kidney filtration. And if you're supplementing, let your doctor know so they interpret labs correctly. How creatine works. In essence, creatine provides a quick fuel reserve for muscles and brain. By increasing the available energy, it helps muscles contract a bit stronger and longer, great for maintaining muscle mass and daily function as we age. Concurrently, it may energize brain cells to function optimally, which can translate to better memory and mental sharpness. For bones, creatine's benefits largely come via improved muscle power, leading to increased bone loading during exercise, and possibly signaling pathways that favor bone formation.
You might have heard the myth that creatine causes bloating, water retention, or cramping. I've heard it makes you feel puffy. In fact, it's true that creatine draws water into muscle cells. It's osmotically active. And in the first week or two, you might see 1 to 2 pounds of water weight gain. But this is typically localized to muscles, meaning your muscles are a bit fuller, not that you're bloated in the stomach or ankles. This effect often stabilizes after the initial period. Importantly, this water retention is inside your muscles, which can actually help prevent dehydration and cramping rather than cause it. Many people actually report fewer muscle cramps once they've hydrated and supplemented with creatine. If you take it correctly, with adequate water, you shouldn't experience any stereotypical bloating. Also, spreading the dose out will be helpful. 5 grams in the morning plus 5 grams in the evening can minimize any stomach discomfort, puffiness if you are sensitive. As for cramps, research has debunked the myth that creatine users in studies do not have any higher incidence of cramps, and some data suggests that they even have less cramps than those that are not taking creatine. So the water weight issue is mostly minor and temporary. It's not fat gain, it can be managed easily.
Myth: I'm too old for creatine. Wasn't it just studied in athletes? Fact: while creatine first gained fame with athletes, it has since been researched extensively in older populations. Scientists have tested creatine in men and women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 90s. The findings consistently show benefits: improved muscle strength, better performance of daily activities, and even cognitive perks. For example, older adults taking creatine have done better in simple tasks like chair stand tests, a measure of leg strength and endurance, than those taking a placebo. Creatine combined with resistance exercise can also help maintain bone density, reducing the rate of bone loss that comes with age. There's growing evidence it may help brain health for older folks as well, possibly improving memory and mental quickness.
All of this to say, you're never too old to benefit. In fact, because aging bodies often have lower natural creatine, older adults may see bigger boosts from supplementation compared to younger individuals. One expert explains that seniors could actually get more out of creatine precisely because they've lost some of that natural edge of youth. So if you thought creatine is an under 40 thing, it's time to update that thinking. Science shows otherwise.
Myth: creatine will make me hyper or affect my heart blood pressure. Fact: creatine is not a stimulant. It's nothing like caffeine. It won't amp up your nervous system or heart rate. In fact, some research is looking at positive effects creatine might have on blood sugar control and muscle metabolism, possibly benefiting metabolic health.
On bone health, we can have strength expert perspective. Gregory Cloutier, a professor in human performance, points out an often overlooked benefit he says: I'm able to lift a little bit heavier and also improving bone density, which is important for us as we get older to help prevent falls and breaks. This quote comes from Cloutier's experience with older clients combining creatine with resistance exercise. Not only did their strength highs rise, but their bone density indicators improved. He underscores that preventing fractures is a top priority for seniors, and creatine is an aid in that larger goal. Additionally, peer-reviewed studies support this. A clinical trial by Schillebeck found that men at their 70s who took creatine during a weight training program increased their bone mineral density more than those who did the same training without creatine. For an older person, even a small increase in bone density can mean significantly lower risk of hip fractures. Experts see creatine as a helpful adjunct to nutrition and exercise for bone health. On cognitive benefits, Steve Clark, a director of performance rehabilitation, shares a personal insight. After adding creatine to his routine initially out of curiosity, when his teenage son started using it, he said, "I feel a little bit less fatigued through the day and a little bit sharper."
While he acknowledges that's an anecdote, it aligns with research showing reduced mental fatigue and improved cognitive function with creatine, particularly in scenarios like sleep deprivation or in older brains. Scientists from the University of Sydney and others have reported that creatine supplementation can lead to measurable improvements in memory tasks in adults over 60. One expert, Dr. Eric Rawson, noted that in studies where older individuals or sleep-deprived people took creatine, their cognitive processing improved, basically helping to counteract the natural or induced brain fog. This is exciting because it suggests creatine's benefits extend beyond just physical strength into mental acuity, a dual benefit highly relevant to healthy aging.
In summary, the expert voices all align on a few key points. Creatine is safe, effective, and beneficial for older adults when used properly. It helps counteract muscle and bone loss, offers cognitive perks, and should be paired with exercise for best results. They debunk the notion that it's only for the young or that it's risky, and they frame it as a scientifically validated strategy to improve health span. Hearing this from researchers, clinicians, and practitioners, specialists forces confidence in creatine's value. Now, every individual's situation is a little bit different. Here are some common scenarios for older adults considering creatine and how to approach them. If you have joint pain or mobility issues, you might find it hard to do traditional exercises due to bad knees or other joint pain. In this case, creatine can still help to preserve muscle even if your activity is limited, but you should try to do some gentle resistance work. Consider low-impact exercises like water aerobics, seated resistance band routines, or physical therapy exercises. Creatine may help you perform these with less fatigue. Always start slow.
If weight-bearing exercise is not possible due to, say, severe arthritis, focus on a protein-rich diet plus creatine. While the muscle benefits will be modest without exercise, creatine could still support your energy for daily tasks and possibly give cognitive benefits. Some research indicates even without structured exercise, creatine supplementation in older adults leads to slight improvements in muscle endurance and memory tasks. So it's not a waste, but do what you can, activity-wise. If you're at risk of falls, perhaps you're concerned about balance or have actually had a fall in the past. In this scenario, creatine combined with balance training and strength training could be very useful.
Creatine has been shown to improve lower body strength and reduce fall risk in seniors by enhancing the benefit of exercise. What to do? Focus on leg strengthening exercises, even just sit-to-stand repetitions from a chair while taking creatine. Over a few months, you might notice improved stability. Always ensure safety. Use a chair or rail for support when exercising if needed, or work with a trainer. The increased muscle power, especially in your legs, can help you catch yourself or avoid falls. And as one expert noted, the bone density improvements from creatine plus weight-bearing exercise will make you more resilient in case of a fall. If you have dietary restrictions, for instance, vegetarian or veganism, as mentioned, older adults who are vegetarian don't eat much meat, likely have lower baseline creatine levels and can benefit from greatly supplementing creatine. If that's your case, creatine might give you a noticeable boost in muscle, energy, and cognitive function because you're making up for what your diet doesn't provide. The plan: definitely consider adding 3 to 5 grams of creatine daily and be consistent with it. You might also see faster initial results. Studies found vegetarians can have larger gains in muscle creatine content since their starting level is so low. There are no animal products in pure creatine monohydrate. It's synthetically made these days, so it's vegetarian and vegan friendly.
Combine it with plant-based protein sources and you'll be supporting your muscle health effectively. If you take medications or have health conditions, always double-check if creatine is appropriate. Generally, creatine doesn't interact with common medications. But if you're on a diuretic or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs long-term, which can affect kidney function, mention creatine to your doctor just to be safe, as those factors combined might stress the kidneys. If you're diabetic, know that creatine might modestly improve blood sugar control, but also if you mix it with juices or carbs for uptake, account for those carbs in your diet.
On the brain side, older adults on creatine have demonstrated sharper memory and quicker thinking in studies, particularly when facing challenges like fatigue. In short, it helps body and mind stay youthful. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements and has an outstanding safety record. In healthy older adults, taking 5 grams daily has no harmful effects on kidneys, liver, or overall health. Common myths, dehydration, cramping, and etc. have been debunked. In fact, proper creatine use may reduce cramps and improve hydration, like we talked about. It does not cause hormonal changes or act like a steroid. The main side effect to watch out for is mild water weight gain, which, as we talked about, is temporary and not fat. Always stick to recommended doses and buy from reputable sources. If you have any existing kidney issue, consult your doctor first, but otherwise creatine is about as safe as supplements come. 3 to 5 grams per day of creatine monohydrate is the go-to regimen for starting for older adults looking to get benefits. There's no need for high loading doses or cycling on and off. Consistency is key. Daily use keeps your muscle and brain creatine stores saturated. Mix the powder in water and on a non-acidic beverage and stay well hydrated.
For best results, combine creatine with resistance exercise, like weight training, Pilates, or even bodyweight exercises, because they work synergistically to build muscle and bone. Creatine basically turbocharges the positive effects of exercise and good nutrition. The best form is creatine monohydrate, plain and simple. Don't be swayed by expensive advanced forms claiming to be superior. The science doesn't back those claims. Monohydrate is effective, affordable, and widely available. When purchasing, look for pure creatine without a bunch of additives. This ensures you're getting the real deal at the right dose.
I thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video. If you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I read and reply to all your comments below, and I would like to hear your story. What is your relation with creatine when you started using? Have you had any issues with it? Have you felt better with it? I will read and I'll reply to all of your comments, okay? Thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye-bye.